What's up, everyone? Coach Lucas here with Coach Leo. Excited to come on tonight. It's 4th of July, so I want to wish everyone a happy 4th. Hope you're thoroughly enjoying the weekend and unwinding and spending time with family with lots of laughs and things of that nature. So tonight, we have a couple things planned. We'll certainly do our Q&A, but I wanted to start things off talking about two primary nutrition supplements that are critical for athletic performance. And we're going to get into the details of this, but before to preface this conversation, I think it's important to understand that, look, if your nutrition's not on point, it doesn't make any sense to consider supplements as helping you in your performances as an athlete. So if your performances are good and you want additional support to help your body and to help your systems recover properly, these are two supplements that we would highly recommend. And we're going to talk about those here today. So the first two supplements, Coach Leo, amino acids and electrolytes. What can you share with me about these two primary supplements?
These two supplements I use more than anything else, with athletes, with general population, with anybody who's training. I even use these with my own kids and they're not training. And it's because it's everything we do supplement wise, first of all, is based from food. So anything that we're recommending is always derived from whole food sources. So if you're taking this and you're thinking it's something like artificial, it's not. It's made from actual sources of food,
Okay.
right? So
So
amino acids are cool. Go ahead.
could we break down amino acids first?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's essential amino acids and there's non-essential amino acids. So non-essential amino acids our body makes itself, and we get them from a lot of plant sources. They're in a lot of different types of food. The essential amino acids our body cannot make. So we have to be intaking essential amino acids, hence the name that they're essential. So essential amino acids that we provide are all of the ones that really drive performance and drive muscle growth, really muscle gain. Because when we're working out, when we're training, when we're practicing, when we play, we're breaking down tissues. So our body needs essential amino acids to rebuild the tissues. That's what it uses for the process. It's like a reconstruction process, and it's the brick and mortar. And if it doesn't have the brick and mortar, then it looks for it from other places. So it will break down other sources of protein in your body just to help fix a different area. So we don't want it pulling from those sources. We always want to have an overabundance, or at least have the pool full all the time. So there's a lot of different types of aminos, and there's certain ones that really help drive muscle growth more than other ones. And we've really narrowed that down, leucine being the biggest one. So leucine creates more of a muscle gaining effect than any other of the amino acids. So what studies
again,
have shown,
these amino acids, which are like what I would what I understand to be the building blocks to proteins that are going to repair the muscle breakdown during performance and post performance. Is that right?
100%. That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. Go ahead with leucine.
So yeah, when you're breaking down your muscle, you have to have protein. But what's the broken down form of protein is just 21 amino acids, right? So then you have your essential 11 or whatever, and then you have non-essential 10. So we need to be intaking the essential ones because it's literally just broken down protein, so it's faster absorbing. We get it into our bloodstream faster. So if we're, let's say, just doing repping out bicep curls like crazy, it's found that up to 70% of our blood volume will go into the muscle that we're working. I mean, maybe not just a bicep, but if you're doing legs and doing squats or split squats, up to 70% of your entire blood volume is going through your legs. So while it's breaking down tissues in your muscle, we want that blood full of the things that are going to help the muscle not break down as fast and literally are going to repair it on site. So we get much, much faster gains. We get better recovery. We also get better exercise because we're not breaking down as fast. But leucine, that's the main driver of that. And the studies, there's so many of them that show that really 2.5 grams is the threshold. So that's what they matched with this amino acid complex that they put together. So there's a lot of people that really love branch chain amino acids. You'll see them in stores. It says BCAA. Okay. And I have a lot of clients that come in and say, look, I got this BCA. And I'm like, that's fantastic. But the problem with that, those are the 3 amino acids, leucine being one of them. So they're like, yeah, we're really smart. We don't need all these other ones. We're just going to use the branch chains. And that's when it's going to drive muscle growth. The problem is the way that they're transported into the cells. They have to have the other amino acids for that to take place. So if you're only using branch chain, it's like you got a bunch of kids on a school bus and no school bus driver. Like they're all loaded, they're ready to go, but they're not going anywhere. They're just kind of staying through the blood, and then we're going to end up eliminating them whenever we go to the bathroom. So we have to have all the other essential amino acids. So I don't mind branch chain as long as people are taking EAA's essential amino acids as well. So for me, it's like a no-brainer. Like everybody should be taking amino acids. I mean, I would go in and I agree with you. Like you do need to get your diet on point first, and this will be a huge benefactor of that if you're utilizing it as well. But if your diet isn't on point, that to me, it's even more important to make sure you're getting amino acids so you don't become catabolic. So catabolic is when we're not having enough protein sources or fuel in our body in general, and we just go into breakdown mode. We're breaking down our own tissues to find the resources we need for different tissues. So we want to be as anabolic as possible in the growth state. We want to be recovering and digesting and everything rebuilding to be stronger. So the more anabolic we are, the more resilient we are to training, and the actual response from training is positive as opposed to negative. Training can have a negative impact on you if you're not recovering well. Everybody talks about recovery. What does that mean? Oh, get your nutrition right. Well, why? This is one of the primary reasons of why. You have to have enough amino acids for protein synthesis to take place, which is literally just the process of you rebuilding your tissues. Protein synthesis is how you gain muscle. So that's really the amino acid side of things.
So if I'm a parent or even a player and I'm looking at these ingredients, I'm going, I don't know what these are, and I'm kind of like unfamiliar and therefore uncomfortable with putting these in my body. You know what I mean? What can you say for those that perhaps don't know these exact ingredients here, but do want a healthy source of like supplement to help with that protein synthesis?
Sure. Well, every one of these aminos is going to be found in any form of protein that you eat. So you're already intaking these, and hopefully from a quality source. So if you're eating meat that's not grass-fed, grass-finished, if it's red meat, if it's not organic, then your quality of amino acids is going to be worse than what's in these. So you're actually taking stuff that already has hormones in it, that already has antibiotics in it, where this is coming from sources that are incredibly clean because we're giving this to Olympic athletes. So if we're doing this at the highest level, and those Olympic athletes have to take the most rigorous drug tests you've ever heard of in your life, and regularly, they'll train for 4 years, sometimes 8 years if they had to miss a cycle. And they really rely on the supplements to help them, but they cannot have something banned or an artificial substance in their body because it'll show up in tests. So we have zero of that in this stuff, which is one of the reasons I really, really like it. But I would challenge people, look them up. Don't be afraid to look up every single one of these ingredients, and you'll see knowledge is power. You know, I could tell you all day, but if you start looking into some of this stuff yourself and looking at what each one of these aminos do, it's actually really interesting. They all have their own role. I can't remember all of them, you know, like just off the back of my head, but I think it's fascinating. Like if you look, you can look at each one, and all of them have some kind of cool play in our body. So when we're talking about like, is this something good or bad to take, you're already taking it. Even if you're a vegetarian, if you're eating peas have all the essential amino acids. So vegetarians, vegans specifically, have a much harder time of getting all the essential amino acids. I think it's found in some legumes too, like lentils. It's just the amount that you have to take is higher, and it's harder to break that down and absorb it and utilize it the same way you would these aminos. So I will give a caveat. If you're a vegetarian, vegan, and you do zero animal products, do not do these essential amino acids because they are animal based from very, very high quality sources though. So everything from here is going to be from an organic, actually pasture raised. These are from ducks, just so you know.
Cool.
Fun fact.
Yeah, because when you introduced these to me several years ago, I started implementing them into my curriculum, if you will. And I noticed right away that I wasn't getting as sore after training as I normally would. I would get sore for maybe a day or maybe even 2 days after training really hard. But when I took this supplement, that went away, and my recovery was so much better, and I was ready to train the very next day. And for players that have long, grueling seasons, this is definitely a way that they're going to be able to stay recovered and not get into that hole where things can start to spiral that lead to injuries and things of that nature. So
Agreed. And when we're talking about like even cost perspective, if you break down what one serving of this is compared to what one serving a quality protein like from the grocery store is, you're always going to have cheaper from an amino acid source. So when I'm trying to get athletes to have 4 or 5 protein feedings a day, that starts becoming really expensive if that's all actual food. And I do want as much of that to be actual food as possible. But if you're looking from just a cost perspective, if you're looking per serving, it's way cheaper to go this route than to eat 5 steaks a day. And you're still going to have just as high a quality, but it's going to be easier to break down. So then we come to the cost problem of, if you're eating that much, well, how do you fit that in before a game, before a practice, before training? You're going to be full. You're going to have all this food in your stomach, but then you couldn't have a protein feeding. So are you going to be catabolic during that game? Or are you going to eat and you're going to have your stomach full? Well, here's a solution. Drink the amino acids.
Beautiful. Let's talk about electrolytes. What are your thoughts?
Shoot, if people aren't somewhat up to game on this, then they're really missing the boat, which is sad because, hydration is talked about a lot, and hopefully by now we know that it's not just water that we need. You could actually dilute your electrolyte status if you drink too much water without any minerals or anything that has that can carry an electric charge in it. So our muscles are all innervated by nerves, every single one of them. We're like giant batteries pretty much, right? So we have electrical charge within our body. And when my brain fires a synapses to use my arm, then I utilize electrolytes to carry that charge and innervate those muscles so they actually do what I want them to do. Now, if I do that 1,000 times, I'm going to start running out of what it needs to innervate those muscles, right? So then once again, my body is really, really cool. It will start pulling minerals from other parts of my body and it will utilize that, or I'm going to end up with a cramp, or my muscle will literally attach to other muscles. So it can start having some of the function of the innervation of the nerve from the other muscle. So this is one of the reasons people get muscles adhesed to others. I talk about adhesions. People don't know what that is. That's when muscles kind of get stuck to others or stuck to other surfaces, and then they can't slide and glide the way that they want to when they're contracting and stretching and relaxing. So that can cause a ton of problems. You can get cramps from that. You can get injuries from that. And then just having a mineral depletion in your body, I'm not even going to go into it, but you can go down the rabbit hole of what kind of health related issues you can start having just from that. So so let's back up just a little bit. When we're talking about performance, when we're talking about youth performance, all of your micronutrients, all of your minerals will go to performance first. Okay, that means if you're playing on the field, everything goes to, because your body is very evolved to run from danger. So when we're playing, our body's in more of a survival mode. So it wants to allocate all of our resources to survival. Well, your body doesn't know you're out there playing soccer. Your body thinks it's 1,000 years ago and you're running from a tiger. That's what it does. So it's like, give us everything we have, because we have to escape, because survival is number one. So, okay, we utilize all that. You played great. Well, you go home and you're still a growing kid. So now you're utilizing, that's the next thing that it goes to. Just natural growth and development of a young person, right? They're growing, we're not. Well, I'm done growing. I don't know about you, coach, but I think I'm getting shorter, if anything, not taller. But so because of that, we're utilizing even more micronutrients, more electrolytes, all of these things, because we're performing and we're growing. And that's assuming we have a decent diet as it is, as opposed to even incorporating more of the stuff that we need. And then we have just our natural processes, which mean you have our natural organs that need to utilize micronutrients for hormone production and for hormone balance, for metabolic synergy, right? So a lot of things can really go awry when we're really low in our electrolyte status, as well as amino acid status, because we're going to pull those things from somewhere else. The body is amazing at doing that, and it can start causing a ton of problems. I mean, literally a laundry list of different issues. And hopefully the mineral status is already decent with the athletes we're working with. But a lot of what I see, most people are low at minimum in magnesium. And I have a lot of people that are low in antioxidants in general. So we're creating oxidative stress when we exercise. We need a good amount of antioxidants to help mitigate that. That's why there's so much vitamin C in these supplements, in this particular electrolyte. So I really like the formulation of this one. I mean, it's got sodium as well. We need the salt. It's got magnesium in it already. And then everything on that right side of the list, you can look them up. All of these things are found in natural foods that we should be eating regularly. The question is, are we actually eating those foods regularly? And what's the quality of those foods? Is it was 50 years ago? Because one cashew, I think it's the cashew, has 50 to 75% less magnesium than it did 50 years ago. Well, why is that? That's a talk for a different day. The fact is still the fact. So even if your diet is on point, and I have this argument with people all the time, you can be eating perfect. I bet you still need supplements. And the only thing that can really back that up is lab testing, which is something we're in the future going to be implementing to show everybody, like, no, you think you're good just with your diet, you're not. Supplements, really, I'm looking at it more as like just a part of the grocery bag now. These are things that fill in my grocery list that I'm not able to get from the grocery store anymore.
So let's talk about electrolytes, because I know a lot of people will compare them to like Gatorade. You're like, oh, you don't need an electrolyte, just drink some Gatorade, or whatever the case may be. And I know Gatorade, just actually, funny enough, Gatorade used to position themselves as an electrolyte like option, although they had all of the, what would you call it, artificial sugars. But now they came out, I don't know if you know this, Leo, they came out the Gatorade Electrolyte drink, specifically called
No,
Gatorade Electrolytes. Yeah, Gatorlyte. It's called Gatorlyte. Yeah.
it's fine.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, how does this compare to other products in the market?
So what this was is, I mean, the people that derived this are the ones working with the highest level athletes. Actually, a friend of mine helped them develop the electrolytes and the amino acids. I mean, he's working with professional athletes and Olympic athletes. So everything that they did was results oriented. They did not care about the profit at all. They wanted to make sure they had something because they cared more about the results of their athletes. Where Gatorade is a huge profit company, we all know that. They care more about how it tastes. They care more about the flavor and that you like it than the actual quality of the products in there. So with this stuff, the cool thing is the sourcing is always incredibly high quality. And I know the sourcing because I've been to some of the facilities. And it's really neat because if they run out of the quality source, they will literally go out of stock, where I've never, ever seen other companies do that. They'll fill it with something else. They'll source it from somebody else. So with this stuff, I can guarantee sourcing because I know where it's coming from. I know it's always going to be at the highest quality. With Gatorade, I've never seen their sourcing, and they don't talk about it and they don't list it on their website or anything. So it's hard to know how high quality it is. The other side is it doesn't say NSF for sport on the bottle. And the hydration complex we use, or the electrolyte synergy, it's NSF for sport, which you can see that on the amino acids, that little NSF for sport, certified sport. That means I never, ever have to worry about the quality of that product. And every batch of that has a number. You can actually follow it all the way back through its packaging, through its quality sourcing, to see if there was ever an issue, if somebody did come up with some kind of problem. Because once in a blue moon, something weird does happen and an athlete might pop for a weird substance on a drug test. We can actually go back and show everything in every place that it was in to say it wasn't our product. It was something else that you were taking. And it could be something literally in your food, because there's so many additives to food nowadays. And this actually happens. So the fact that these are NSF for sport, to me, says everything. And if Gatorade really, really cared about their products, they would do the same, because they're Olympic athletes. If they're drinking Gatorade, they could come up on a drug test. So I don't think that they're probably drinking Gatorade at that level, personally.
Very
So yeah,
good.
quality wise, I think they're probably the best you can find on the market.
Excellent. Yeah, if I had this knowledge and if I had this knowledge back when I played, I would take both of these. What would you recommend as far as like servings?
On average, I'm just going to put a big average out there. 1 scoop of electrolytes and 1 scoop of amino acids before, let's say, practice, workout, training, game. And then I would do another scoop of electrolytes and 1 to 2 scoops of amino acids during the game. And I wouldn't really, with these ones, because there's such high vitamin C content, I wouldn't go much above 3 scoops of electrolytes in a day, because 6 grams of vitamin C is a pretty decent amount. Nothing bad will happen except like you might be running to the bathroom a little more often. But other than that, like, I mean, I'm giving my kids the same stuff, and I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're drinking aminos and electrolytes. So I'm not, but the dosage is very much based off of a 150-pound male, which isn't a huge male. Like I weigh 180, so I actually have to dose up a little bit. So the amino acids, I mean, it's really up to how much you can handle in your stomach as well, because of the high leucine threshold. Like that is protein still, so you're going to have to break all that down. So I tell everybody to start more with 1 scoop and see how you handle it. But if you're closer to that 150-pound range during training, especially during workouts, 2 scoops perfectly fine during the workout or during training. And then electrolytes, if you have multiple bouts of exercise in a day, just spread them out a little bit, and then you can still utilize those within the training, right before the training, or both. Now, post training is when I would just do protein, straight up protein, because now you have more time to digest it, more time to absorb it the way it should be. So that I like as an actual protein shake after the workouts or after training.
Excellent. Very good. And if someone wants to get these supplements, how would they go about doing that?
They can go to kineticstrength.myshopify.com. So we have all of this stuff listed. The electrolytes are listed as hydration formula on this website, but it's cool because the company that actually makes this, Designs for Health, they, for whatever reason, didn't put NSF for sport on their electrolytes, but they did for ours. So we got the branding on it, which is beautiful. So it's really neat. I personally like the orange flavor of aminos better, but some people like the fruit punch. Not very many, but at least one I know.
Very good. Well, Leo, thank you for sharing your information, your knowledge, your expertise on that topic. And I know a lot of players and parents will find this useful.
Awesome.
Cool. Now we can open things up for Q&A. We've got Dylan and Lucas on board along with Matthew. So we can turn things over for anyone that would like to speak. Looks like Matthew may have the first question. Matthew, how are you?
Good.
How can we help?
Well, so in the mobility, series, I was wondering if there should be anything else on the homepage other than the course introduction and mobility library, because in the welcome video, there was a lot more resources.
What do you mean?
Well, because when I log on, it only has course introduction and mobility library. And when I watched the welcome to the course, there was about 8 other things or more.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry. You mean the video itself?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look.
Okay. I thought there was supposed to be more, but it's exactly the same on my screen. I thought at the top, next to course introduction mobility library, there was supposed to be other things.
Got it. Did you click this one?
Yes.
And you saw all the exercises here?
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, all you have to do then is come here on the left. There's a mobility challenge, and then there's the Msm Mobility Routine. This is the one we should be doing daily.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions on that?
No,
Okay. Cool. Have you tried them out yet?
I've tried some of them out.
Cool. Yeah, those are going to be huge. If you just start doing those daily and really hone in on the ones that really benefit you, you're gonna put yourself in a really good position to perform well this upcoming season. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Cool. Next up is Dylan. Dylan, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
How can we help?
My question is, how did you access those exercises again?
The mobility exercises?
Yeah, how did you access that?
You go to, I'll show you. Go to Performance Academy, the platform, go to Classroom, click on Pro Mentality Training, and then
Okay,
just come here to week 2,
okay,
and it's under the exercise lesson. And it says Begin Mobility Program.
okay,
They just click on that and a little page will pop up. Let's say Coach Leo Soccer Strength, and you just complete this form and it'll email you access to the course that we just reviewed a second ago.
okay.
Cool. Any questions on that, Dylan?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. How's everything going so far? Did you watch week 1?
Yeah, I finished. Yeah, I've watched week 1, and I'm working on the worksheets.
Excellent. Excellent. Leo, just so you know, Dylan is a new member of MSM, and we're getting him ready to rock for this upcoming season.
How you doing, Dylan?
I'm good.
Good, man.
So Dylan,
Yeah.
if you need anything from me or Leo, just reach out to us in the community, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Have a good one. All right. And then Lucas is on. Might as well say hello. How are you, Lucas?
I'm doing good.
How's your weekend?
It's been good.
Excellent. Anything you need from me or Leo?
No, thank you.
Leo Lucas is also new to the program. Is that right, Lucas?
Yes, sir.
And did you complete week 1?
Yes, sir.
How'd you like it?
It was good.
What was your favorite part?
Say that again.
What was your favorite part of week 1?
I did the first module.
Cool. So you still have 2 more to go. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, look, if you need anything from me and Leo, let us know. In the meantime, why don't you jump on those 2 modules and reach out if you have any questions.
All right.
See you, pal. Awesome. Coach Leo, anything else from you tonight?
No, hopefully everybody had a really good holiday. And then everybody's ready to get back to training. For those of you that are wondering what my part is in the MSM world, I'm the strength and mobility coach, strength and conditioning coach. So we do have a strength program. You do really well in your mentality training, and you'll probably get an invitation to the strength program. But a lot of it is to set up so that you're ready for whatever the next part of your career is. So hopefully strength training is a piece of that. If you're trying to get to a really high level, it has to be a piece of it. So it's something that hopefully you guys are embracing now. So the mobility stuff that Coach Lucas is talking about, for those that master that early, they do the strength program much better right off the bat. They just get better results from it, because we have to have good range of motion before we really load those ranges. So really, really hone in on that and focus on it. Otherwise, I'm going to be yelling at you every single week to get deeper into certain ranges and asking if you've been doing the mobility work. So get ahead of it is what I'd tell all of you guys to do now.
100%. And, Leo is a performance specialist. He can take nearly any player and get them to an optimal state over a given period of time. How long that takes? It's just a matter of evaluating, picking a time and attacking it in correspondence to like what your level of output is during that particular time. So my point with that is if you want to prepare yourself to get the most out of MSM long term, you have to attack the first 3 weeks of pro mentality training. You really have to just own the whole thing so we can meet you in peak performance. So we can meet you 6 to 12 weeks later and go, yes, you have a foundation of the right mentality so that you can handle the upcoming season in the right way. Then we can add on these additional layers that are going to improve your performance. Things like mobility, specifically strength, speed, all those things. And if it's not solely in peak performance, our online version of peak performance training, we're going to have training camps and in-person experiences that you can come speak with us and learn how to develop optimally. So needless to say, do the work, take your notes, watch the lessons, get the work done, and let us know if you need anything along the way. So Coach Leo, thank you. Gentlemen, thanks for joining. You guys have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.